And I know that you walk a fine line with working with the leader and oftentimes with the team at the same time.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're also aware not only of what you say, but where you say it, the timing. Is it one on one? Is it with the group? And trust is a big part of that. Like you said, because you said after a while, I felt that I had the team with me, probably in norming and performing at this point in time. We have the relationship, but you're still coming at it from a tactful way. You're not giving straight up hard nosed feedback. You're saying, hey, is this giving you the result you're looking for? Is this your intention? And having really them do the self reflection on that. That's a really useful tool.
Yes. However, there was a project that I was doing for an organization that had some significant cultural issues. There was high turnover in the team in the department, and there was even some issues related to some perception of some gender decisions that were being made around promotions. So I had done a fairly significant, what I call it, like an environmental scan. I think I did 40 hours of focus groups and interviews in the department and themed it and brought a report to the client. In that particular case, so I didn't have a solid relationship yet with the client.
Mm.
It was early days. Summarized my whole thing. And in fact, I had an interesting experience with this client because their HR people softened my report, which I've never had anybody try to do. So I wasn't thrilled about that to begin with. So when you're asking me about, how willing am I to be direct, it was pretty direct in what I had written, and they softened it. And then when we presented it to the leadership group, including the HR people, and there were some pretty significant findings, I found that the leadership wasn't owning the impact of what had happened in their department and some of their maybe unconscious behaviors and what the ripple impact was. And so because I wasn't attached, and what I mean by that is I knew in this moment when I did what I did, because I'm about to tell you what I did, I was possibly going to lose this client. I hadn't built the trust with them yet. They didn't know what work I could do to help them. I could tell them I could do it and I had a track record, but let's be serious. They didn't know me. And in that meeting, I actually said to them, I need to say that I am really disappointed with the reaction I'm noticing from you as I present these findings. I said, I actually do not get the impression at all that you're really taking responsibility for what's happened in your department. And anyhow, the VP
Oh my. Yeah.
actually got emotional and took complete 100% ownership for what happened and started to show tears in the whole thing. The person who was the director of the department, he inherited the department and it wasn't really him that had contributed to that. And he was never in the entire time, because I actually got the work and we really did an amazing job of transforming their culture. But we had to do workarounds him because back to what I said about lacking some emotional intelligence and the readiness, there were some gaps in the leadership. So when you asked about working with the team, this is where I really try to not just work with leadership, but also work with the actual organizational system, like the employees, so that it doesn't just mean that the work I'm doing is just with leaders, even though that's critical, but it was both. So in that case, I was very direct. I took a risk. I knew I might lose the client because I didn't have the relationship, but I felt, as I said it, that they needed basically a baseball bat smacked on their head to really get present to what they had created negatively in their department, even if it wasn't their intention.